Hey there. Hello, hello. Come on in if you're here. I am waiting for this to pop up so that I can share it out. How are you? Has your week gotten better? We're kind of coming up to like the tail end of it. Let's see if I can. Let's see if it'll let me share this video out. Yeah, so while I'm doing this, hello, hello. Let's see if I can find my video on Facebook. Facebook has really been bugging out for me lately, and I don't know what that's about. But I'm in between calls. I feel like every time I come on here, I'm in between calls. Actually, I think that has been the case. And I'm gonna start. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Share. I don't know why this is taking so long to share. Okay, so I'll come back and edit the title later. Okay, so let me pop over to Instagram now that I've shared that out, and then I am going to share a quick message. And I did really good because they usually are pretty quick. Let's go live. Okay, so I was coming on to talk about why I focus on the whole woman. I was in a conversation and someone asked me about kind of like what I do and kind of why I do what I do. And as opposed to me just working as a business advisor or just working as a leadership advisor or just working as a personal advisor. And I talked about how it's so important for me to focus on the whole woman for many reasons. One of the biggest reasons, and you guys probably hear it's construction going on the outside, so that's what that is. Don't, nothing I can do about that. But I talked about how I watched as I was in the corporate world and moving up into the executive, into the C-suite, and all of that. And I talked about how I experienced and how I saw so many other women experience not having the career trajectory that they wanted to have because in some way, somehow, they had to segment who they were or segment themselves from the role that they were expected to have at a company, especially as you move up into director level roles or executive level roles. A lot of women that I have worked with, and even myself, went through experiences where we felt that we could only be who we had to be in the role and not be able to bring more of our whole selves to it for whatever reason. Like I talk about, for example, being when I worked in the building industry and how, a lot of times I kind of had to push my femininity aside or myself aside in order to really be heard. Like I was seen, but I wasn't actually heard. And I talk about why that's so important to me because I see a lot of women who, when it comes time for them, when they're ready to become more high profile, either in their career or even in a business, when they're ready to become more high profile, a lot of the clients I work with get to a point where they're like, well, now people want to know about me. Not just my role, not just what I did, but they want to know more about me. And they start feeling like they're in some kind of identity crisis because for so long they had to push themselves aside in order to really be heard in the workplace or in their role. So it's so important for me that I help women take up space in their life. It's so important to me that women feel comfortable finding their voices, finding the confidence to really speak up and stand up and go for those high visibility opportunities. And a lot of times we have had to silence some part of ourselves or diminish some part of ourselves really in order to make things work, to like compromise. And I'm here to tell people that I don't want you to compromise in ways that do not feel good to you. I don't want you to diminish your perspective, your brilliance, your value, or any of that. So when I work with executives, when I work with leaders, I let people know I work with the whole woman. Because what is happening in your life, in your personal life, it affects your work, it affects your career, it affects your business. Even if you want to be someone who says, well, no, I know how to keep it separate. When something is embedded in your subconscious, it's going to affect you. And it may not feel like it, but as long as you have to isolate parts of who you are, when you can't bring all of those to the table, when you do bring all those to the table, that's when you start to get into those well paying roles. Or that's when you start getting well paying clients in your own business. So it's important that you understand, for many, many women, what you're experiencing in your personal life, in your family, in whatever you have going on, has a direct correlation and implication a lot of times to how you feel and how you move forward in the workplace, in the marketplace, in the business. So that's why I don't segment, and I let you know that we have to deal with and address what we have before us, because how you feel matters to me. Why you feel the way you feel also matters to me, because when we can dig into that, then we can actually get down to the nitty gritty and deal with the actual subconscious things that are happening that's preventing you from moving into more high profile lanes in your life, personal and career and business. So that's all I wanted to pop on and say. I got to go hop off and hop on a call. But follow me. If you're not following me, please do, and let me know what you think. Have you been in a place in your career or even in your business where you felt like you really had to segment and diminish some parts of your brilliance or value at some point? And if you haven't, that's great. Share that too and let me know. All right, ta-ta.